The Trump campaign is now showcasing its no tax on tips program in an event this afternoon in Las Vegas. It's an idea gaining traction on both sides of the aisle in Washington. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins me now, along with Alexis again for more on this. Jay, Trump's campaign has basically accused Harris of stealing this idea of no tax on tips. Why has it become so popular with both campaigns?
Yeah, and it's something we've seen the Harris campaign really lean into, including here at the Democratic National Convention. And one of the reasons why is because it is popular, particularly in a state like Nevada, for instance, where there are a number of service industry workers. It is correct that Trump pitched this policy first, that Harris pitched a version of it. So he did come first with this policy. And we have heard some criticism, frankly, on it from both sides of the aisle, because while it's politically expedient, because it might work in a key swing state like Nevada, there's also concern that, you would be giving a tax break to potentially some service workers, but not others. People waiting tables, but not necessarily cooks in the back of the kitchen. So there's questions as to its efficacy, but in the reality, both campaigns seem to be making the calculus that it could win them votes.
Alexis, there are also questions about the impact here, right? It sounds great to say, especially if you are a service worker, but what is the impact of the national economy if you stop taxing tips altogether?
Right, what we're not hearing here is what will the cost be? What will the revenue lost amount to? And, depending on who you look at, it could be upwards of $250 billion over 10 years if you eliminate federal taxes from workers' tips. Trump wants to go a step further and also say payroll taxes are exempt. The question becomes, where do you get that money from? And also, some are saying this really does not amount to a tax cut for low and middle income workers. It's actually going to be a boost for employers, because if you're not going to tax the wages, the tips, then does the company not have to increase their base salary for these workers who rely on tips?
And so they're saying that the employer could benefit from this by not then being motivated to increase their base salary. Are they motivated to do that now?
Well, look, they're really not, because the minimum wage hasn't gone up much, and the minimum wage for these workers is different because it's not the regular federal minimum wage, because they are dependent on tips. That's part of their overall equation. I think a lot of economists are saying the better way to deal with this is to either raise the minimum wage, something that Harris has put her support behind, but also increasing things like the child income tax credit, the earned income tax credit, which would help a broader base of low and middle income workers, not just those reliant on tips.
Interesting. Jay O'Brien, Alexis, Christoforous, thank you both.